Brazil is living through a very rough patch in its security. It's had something like over 60,000 homicides in 2016. Homicides have been on the increase in recent years. And that's a lot of that is due to organized crime and criminal violence in the cities. A particularly hard-hit city has been Rio de Janeiro, where for a long time now security in the slums and other peripheral areas has been quite problematic due to the presence of highly armed gangs, such as the Red Command and the Amigos dos Amigos, that challenge state authority and prohibit the state and state institutions and the police from entering the slums. And the state has been absent for a long time, including in terms of services, infrastructure, etc. So the populations in those slums are very much at the hands of the gangs. Not all slums are like that, but many of them are. And in recent years, we've seen, again, a deterioration in security in Rio. So an increase in the clashes between the military police, which is the anti-crime police, go-to police force in the state of Rio de Janeiro, and the gangs in the slums. So Rio de Janeiro attempted a pacification strategy between more or less 2008 and 2012 that included the arrival of security forces and the permanent stationing of these forces in the slums, followed by, at least in theory, public services and state institutions. However, this program deteriorated for a number of reasons, including the economic downturn and recession that hit Brazil in recent years. So, since 2013, we've seen a significant deterioration and increase in homicides in Rio. During the past year, since February 2018, the federal government declared what it called a federal intervention, meaning that all security institutions in Rio were placed under the command of the armed forces. Initially, this did not present many results, but the numbers between January and October show a very important reduction in homicides. However, it came at a cost of somehow of a increase in the militarization of security approaches in Rio. So that's linked to police interventions, or that's occurring during police operations, have increased tremendously by close to 30% in the metropolitan area of Rio up until October in comparison to the same period last year. So this has indicated an increased militarization of the security approaches in Rio de Janeiro against these gangs. Brazil has also been through a very turbulent period in its politics, which has resulted in the election of a far-right president, Jair Bolsonaro, which will be sworn in on the 1st of January. And in Rio de Janeiro, one of his allies, also a very far-right and conservative politician, has been elected governor with some pretty hard security approaches to the gang problem, including an increase in the militarized approach, a suggestion that criminals should be shot down. And this presents a few challenges for the stabilization of the slums, because one of the core issues that numerous studies have pointed is that the absence of the state and the problem of underdevelopment in the slums is at the core of the security issue. So an increased militarization of the security approach is quite problematic in many ways. So if the increase in police and military interventions in the state and in the city of Rio are combined with more developmental approaches, maybe we can see a way forward. But as it stands, Rio is living through a very difficult period in its history.